Hello everyone, this is Star here, and to cut straight to the chase, to be honest, the reason why I'm doing this video like this is because of brain rot, alright?
Leave me alone! Ah!
So right after watching the first episode of Oshi no Ko, I immediately went to go read the manga because deadass, this is the first time ever the premiere of an anime has hooked me so well that it makes me think that waiting a week is too long. And thus, my 2-week journey with Oshi no Ko began. Picking up from where the anime premiere left off, and holy fuck, was it an emotional roller coaster, with me just fucking blitzing through the series and discovering the character this video is about. Kana Arima, to me, one of Aka Ayasaka's best written characters in the universe he is cooking up right now. So, the basic premise of Oshi no Ko, in my own words, to catch everyone up to speed, is that it starts with a doctor named Goro Arima, or whatever the fuck his name is, I probably mispronounced it, who is a fan of an idol named Ai Hoshino, because a patient he once had named Serena was a fan who passed away recently. So one day, Ai goes to his hospital since it is remote and he finds out she is pregnant. Due to him being one of the few doctors that actually know her secret, him and Ai build a bond and he promises that he will deliver the child. However, on the night of her delivery, Goro is fucking bodied to his death by a stalker and surprisingly reincarnated as one of Ai's children, which is kinda weird, not gonna lie. But fuck it, we ball. Also, he has a twin sister as well who is reincarnation of Serena. So now they go under Aqua and Ruby Hoshino and the prologue goes on through. Ai gets killed like everyone knows now and Aqua is on a hunt for revenge against the person who did it. And so the story begins. Now, Kana is someone Aqua and Ruby actually met in the prologue before she became a major character. And holy shit, was she a brat. Like, goddamn. I mean, there is a reason for it later in the story, but still, so bossy and stuck up, as well as when Aqua outperforms her, she breaks down crying because of how good he was. Again, explained later. But thankfully, character development happens, and now we are here. She is a 17-year-old high school student with a nice hat. Yeah, you will notice immediately that hats are basically her signature trait, and for me, I frankly love them. Anyways, I will be describing how I feel with each stage of Kana's character development through the arcs of the story and go up to the most recent chapter at the time of making this video. So when we are reintroduced to her, we see she is a far cry from how she was before. She is now a lot more kinder to people while maintaining her snarky personality she has always has. Now she is determined to make sure that everyone is not annoyed by her anymore due to her past actions, as well as making sure the actual product of what she is acting in turns out good by any means necessary. As we find out, she has been desperate to get a lead role in acting due to her acting like a brat in the past, has caused her to lose jobs as she gets older. The consequence that unfortunately a lot of child actors suffer from. For me, this was honestly a really good introduction for the character, showing that they have saw past mistakes and are learning from them, which honestly is a core value I strive to have, as well as there is a lot more room for development. But honestly, what made me like her character a lot was that she was just really goofy now. Like, now she was haunting this man Aqua without any regards for social cues because she wanted to get to know what he was up to. As well as when she's not on set, she loses it when people diss her all the time. However, something that is a common theme throughout her entire character arc is her passion for acting. Something I always heard was that you don't know what you have until you lose it. For Kana, that was basically her entire career because when she was the star of the show, unfortunately, throughout the entire Sweets Today filming, she can't really show herself because she didn't want to upstage everyone until Aqua showed off his acting skills and allowed Kana to really show her passion to everyone, as well as the start of her crush with Aqua. Now on to the next arc. While not playing a huge role, we still get more insight on her mental state and experiences. We first start off with her becoming an idol because Ruby wants to start one. At first, she declined because her performance on Sweets Today actually caused her to get some traction to restart her career. But as well as we start seeing how she really views herself. While saying that becoming an idol will jeopardize everything for her, we also see that she doesn't view herself as cute enough, which honestly, reading this for the first time stood out to me, as we could see her snarky personality might actually be a front for inner self-deprecation issues. But what convinced her was the twins, actually. As Ruby, we could see she could feel the aura of I from her. While working with I once before she died, she could feel the confidence to draw someone in, as well as Aqua. Well, yes, one of the reasons is that she starts to have feelings for him. It is also because she feels like she can work with him more if it will improve her own acting as well. So we fast forward to the middle of the arc, where another major character named Akane starts getting massive online harassment. Due to this, we get insight onto Kana's mentality when she was explaining how online harassment affects people. We find out that Kana was suicidal at one point in her life, as well as start seeing stuff like hallucinations when her mental state was at her worst, when assumingly people started saying she had no value anymore, relating this to Akana's mental state. Lastly, in the tail end of the arc, we see Aqua talk to Kana pertaining to emotions, since she is one of the few people he can trust while playing catch. While Kana wasn't able to offer much advice, her and Aqua talking about mundane stuff allowed him to figure out his feelings. Lastly, at the end of the arc, we see Aqua kiss Akane for his own reasons, and we see Kana cry because of it, ultimately confirming she has feelings for him. Honestly, all these winks and nods to how Kana feels and her thought process, while not being completely explored, extremely fleshes her out as a character to not be one note. Especially with the reveal that she has a self-deprecating side to her that plays well with her tsundere-ness, I guess I could call. Plus, for me, characters that have a low image of themselves really makes me scream, "She just like me, for real, for real!" Now we're in the thick of it. We have a good foundation for a great character, and now we see the story start her character development. And to start us off, we see that she is fucking pissed at Aqua for kissing Akane because, not gonna lie, that motherfucker was sending mixed signals that it 100% seems like he was into her, especially that last talk about emotions. On top of that, we see her self-esteem issues really start to take the forefront. And spoiler warning, they never leave after this point. On top of the first concert of the new Bikomochi is coming up, and it turns out Ruby and another girl that joined named Mem can't sing for shit. Meaning Kana has to be the lead girl because of her past experiences with singing. All that together, like goddamn, my girl was doubting herself every minute, saying stuff like, "Oh, you guys won't sell if I'm the lead girl. People want honest and cute girls, and not girls," as she would describe herself as, troublesome and twisted. Just really showing that her confidence really is a facade for the real Arima Kana, a girl who has massive self-esteem issues, and the reveal on why she is the way she is. Ultimately, Kana is a victim of child neglect and abandonment. So we found out that Kana's popularity started to go downhill. Everyone who she thought cared about her, including her mom and dad, left her. This was all during Kana's child development phase of her life, aka the most important time in a child's life that shapes them into who they will be in the future. And unfortunately for Kana, she got an extremely shitty hand. Imagine you were once loved by everyone. They called you a genius and showered you with attention, but as you grew older, you can't be useful to them anymore. So they just leave, including the people who brought you into this world. There's even a scene of Kana's mom just leaving her to go stay with her parents when Kana was assumingly still in middle school. That will fuck up a child. So issues like her not being able to handle her feelings for Aqua, or her acting very childlike at times, it all stems from here, to where her childhood was basically ruined to the point where a lot of social norms like handling crushes she has not learned. All of this from her fucked up childhood starts to take hold of her. As their first live concert goes on, Kana sees that everyone is loving Ruby and Mem, but not her. She is alone on stage, abandoned once again, wanting to cry out for someone to notice her. However, Aqua holds out her glow stick, being the only one in the audience to do so, that he does notice her, ultimately giving Kana the courage to hold strong while she knows that it will be a long road ahead to gain her confidence with the help of Aqua and her determination for him to fall in love with her, as well as the support of Ruby and Mem. She feels like this idol job might actually work out. Holy fucking shit. This is when Kana officially became my favorite character in this series. To me, this is how you do excellent character writing, of letting us know how your characters feel and why they are the way they are, as well as showing so much room for character development as we proceed on to the next arc. So a continuation on Kana's character arc, and we see that this arc focuses on her abandonment issues and the consequences of it. So we find out here that to survive in the entertainment world, Kana essentially had to hold herself back severely, because if she outperformed her co-stars, she wouldn't have any job offerings at all. However, like the good friends that she has around her, being Aqua and her rival Akane, knowing her potential for acting is so much more than what she is showing, them forcing her to show off her true potential, causing us to learn a lot more of Kana's backstory. Oh boy. So, showing to us that she has a lot more issues than we thought. So, to break down what we know so far, Kana, even though she loves acting, stems from the fact that her mother forced her to be one, to live out her own dreams, as her mother always wanted to be an actress as she lived through her daughter. For Kana, she did this just so she can get the affection from her mother. And unfortunately, reveals that those were the happiest times of her life, when she was still a toddler. Then, as soon as things went downhill, we found out that Kana is a victim of abuse as well. As she said, "Mom would take it out on me," seeing the entire house covered in trash, as well as her own dad cheating on her mom because he couldn't handle her bullshit anymore and left, leaving Kana with the constant reminder that she was the cause of her family basically being destroyed. Living with that mother for years, while we are not shown, we can infer that it didn't do her mental health any favors, thus getting us to the point where she's basically all alone now, adopting this new mentality of that everyone has to be happy, that she is no longer a burden to anyone. Honestly, with this backstory more explored, made me realize that Kana is probably the most realistic character in this series. Aqua and Ruby are reincarnations of other people. Akane possesses a genius-like intellect. She's definitely the smartest character in the series. Mem is mostly a gag character, but she seems to be a well-adjusted adult. Then there's Kana, who is someone who hides behind a mask of confidence and a sharp tongue that is an innate nature to her. A victim of multiple circumstances high schooler. So yeah, I feel like a lot of more people could relate to Kana's issues, as unfortunately a lot of us are victims of our parents' abuse. To label her under a psychological term, because it seems like all my favorite characters have that, she is suffering from borderline personality disorder, which a definition ripped straight from Google states, you have an intense fear of abandonment and instability, and you may have difficulty tolerating being alone, yet inappropriate anger, impulses, and frequent mood swings may push others away, even though you want to have a loving and lasting relationships. Which, wow, sounds exactly like Kana. And most of her character development stems from conquering this, and the first signs of this is when Kana finally unleashes her full potential, where it is revealed she also has the star eyes. To give a brief explanation what the star eyes are, they are the drive to achieve your goal. Most of the time it is shown with a 6-pointed star. However, Kana's is different, as she has multiple 4-pointed stars in her eyes. We don't know what this means yet. To give my guess, it might be an unrefined version of the 6-pointed stars, or, and I like this explanation a bit more, to shows the pure drive to achieve your dream without any need to be deceptive. And thus, the plays end, with everyone starts seeing Kana's true potential. Kana doesn't really do much this arc. Next arc. Okay, while she doesn't do much, we are shown a cute date with her and Aqua, as well as set up saying that Aqua might not be able to be with her because of the eye incident. Welcome to the Kana depression era, to when Aqua really wanted to show Kana at her lowest point yet for like 20 plus chapters. To list all the shit that happened to her, Aqua is now avoiding her. His fear of the same thing happening to her as I controls him, thus triggering her abandonment issues again. She basically gets no acting jobs for almost a year and only does idle work. Her rivalry with Akane basically ending with her losing as Akane skyrockets as an actress while she is stuck where she is. Her self-worth is at an all-time low. And finally, Aqua accidentally slaps her, causing her to think she hates him, worsening her mental state. Like, Jesus Christ, Aqua, what did you do to deserve this? But honestly, I feel like this is another reason why she is a lot of people's favorites, including myself. Her constantly taking L's make us want to root for her even more. And as someone who constantly takes L's, I really feel for her during this portion of the story. So, a lot of people complaints with Kana is that she doesn't really contribute to the revenge plot. But while this is true up to that point, which other characters other than the two protagonists can carry their own arc? Because that is basically what the Scandal arc is. It is a Kana arc. While it is the shortest arc in the series, it shows that her character is strong enough and developed enough to do so. So that tangent aside, Kana is at her lowest point now. Her self-esteem issues is at an all-time high, thinking of herself as nothing but an extra now in life and in work. In life, as she's the only one not constantly busy like everyone else, left alone with her own thoughts, and the constant reminder that the person that drives her now hates her. As well as in the job, as Ruby skyrocketed in popularity and now she is the least popular member of the entire group, with the feeling of being replaced. That leads her to a desperate corner, feeling trapped and wanting so badly to return to the world of acting that she meets up with an upcoming director to try to get back in again. And honestly, their talk for her is feeling like an escape from her current situation, a sense of comfortability, honestly. This feeling of being on a constant unease is honestly shown quite well in the manga. People who are close in her life, like Mem and Ruby, are now shown as completely black figures with creepy smiles. Every memory she has with Aqua is now shown to be under a static camera, showing that she has signs of mental instability. The light in her eyes are shown to go out now more than ever when she talks about herself. I feel the artist, Manga, did a really good job showing how Kana is feeling through her illustrations without the use of words. So, back to her fumble arc. This desperation caused her to go to the director's house as she feels like this will finally be her way back in. Even though going back to a guy's house is not a move Kana would usually make, as there's a high chance of, well, a scandal happening. Hint hint, nudge nudge. Honestly, I do love this build-up because we have seen for over 20 plus chapters at this point just Kana being depressed, to when she makes this move, it's not out of character. So the events of the director's house happens with two important events taking place. First, the director is a playboy and he does try to have sex with Kana, as in her desperate state, she was gonna go through with it. However, this is just reaffirms that after all this time, she is still in love with Aqua, even though he has treated her horribly and is still avoiding her. And second, the director is actually interested in giving her a role to where finally, after almost 20 chapters of being depressed, she finally gets a W, which only lasts one page before the biggest shitstorm so far in the manga hits her. A paparazzi photographer takes a photo of her entering the director's apartment at night and sees her leaving in the morning, which can only be framed as a popular idol betraying their fan. Chapter 103. I specifically list this chapter because I'm not gonna lie, this is one of my favorite chapters of all time. So it starts off with the reporter finding Kana walking on the street and shows her the photo that the paparazzi took of Kana and asking what's her relationship with the director. We then see Kana spiral into a full mental breakdown. The art becomes more sketchy as her thoughts become distorted, repeating words as you can feel the panic come across her face. She runs at first having no idea what to do. Her first thoughts are that she causes trouble for everyone, not even concerned about herself. Then as she's trying to get away, the self-negativity starts to take hold and chokes her. Eyes once full of life to contain the star power completely pitch black. Thoughts scratchy as she thinks of what everyone is going to say about her now, or the scum of the earth, that she is the problem and all she does is cause trouble for everyone else, only thinking about herself. That she is a betrayal for everything an idol stands for. And so an entire page is dedicated to all the thoughts she's going through. We then end with her being at a baseball field where her and Aqua played catch. A much simpler time back then. Repeating the words, "I have a bad personality," thinking that she is nothing, that all her hopes and dreams of being in the entertainment world wasn't meant for her, that maybe the world doesn't want Kana Arima, asking someone to please help her like all those times in the past. She then says, "Help me, Aqua," realizing that she starts laughing, seeing that she is crying for someone who she thinks hates her now. Processing that this isn't the first time she has faced extreme criticism, asking herself now, has she become so dependent on a man that she can't handle it herself, pretending to be a pitiful heroine or someone begging for forgiveness on something she didn't do? She says, "Fuck that. I will stay the way I am, letting others be innocent for my action. I have faced this once and I can do it again. Head on." This chapter to this day is the best chapter in the series for me. The way it conveys utter despair to pure hope in only 18 pages is masterful, giving enough time for each tone to breathe, really cementing Kana as one of my favorite characters of all time. We see her character development as we read or watch her face the lowest of lows but also the highest of highs, to where I truly believe Akka and Manga were really in their element making her character arc, now believing in herself to handle when this scandal breaks head on. She turns on the TV to see Aqua reveals his and Ruby's secret of being Ai's children. As we see that he found out beforehand about the possible scandal with Kana and decided to contact the publisher to trade information, his secret so that Kana won't be defamed. Even Kana realizes this after seeing the news of her scandal not coming out and decided to talk to Aqua to clear everything that happened between them, and decided for the first time ever to start talking about her backstory a bit more to help reconnect with Aqua, because up to this point all she told people was that because of her she lost jobs, not about how she feels like people hate her or her mother's abuse. To explain this, Aqua wrote a line of dialogue that I have to say, it will stick with me forever. However, every time I lost my value, they leave me one after another. I know that the wounds I bear as a child will forever haunt me. Even now, I'm still trembling. As someone who is still trying to deal with their childhood trauma, this line connected with me so much, showing that childhood trauma can never truly go away. It's just something we have to live with. She reveals this to Aqua as she knows that the reason why everyone leaves her is because they hate her, as well as including Aqua in that category, still thinking that no one else is to blame except for herself. Aqua finally reveals that he was keeping his distance because he was afraid of that the same thing that happened to Ai will happen to her. Her now knowing Aqua's actual relationship with Ai first smacks him because goddamn he fucking deserves it after not being upfront with it and causing her so much worry. Then reveals that he doesn't have to worry anymore, that she will quit being an idol and pursue acting for the rest of her life, because that is what she's truly passionate about, because that is what allowed her to get through everything she's dealt with. still wanting the goal of making Aqua fall in love with her, just in a shorter time frame than she thought, with the last concert being in the summer. And that's it. At the time of writing this video, Kana has just been reaffirming her act, but her flaws like being too naive and her self-deprecation still needing to be worked on. Her naivety looks like something we will get focus on, as Aqua is now going full revenge mode. Honestly, I didn't expect Kana to be one of my favorite characters of all time when I watched the first episode, or even when the promotional material was coming out of the show. But with Aqua's masterful writing, like he always does, he was able to create one of the most fleshed out characters I have read from him. And all I hope is that she gets a good ending, unlike one of my other favorite characters from him. Who knows when her full character arc is complete? I might make another video on thoughts on her conclusion. Also, he better make Aqua and Kana canon by the end, because there's way too much development on their romantic relationship to end in tragedy. Like, give my girl the ultimate W, please. So, to end this video, I would like to do more of these character reviews, as this was honestly a lot of fun to make. So please comment anything I did well, but also what can I improve, as I'm always open to making my content better. Thank you all for watching, and I hope I can make more in the future.